Crazy What Love Can Do is a song here by David Guetta and Becky Hill, kickstarting the second hour of the Capital Radio's midday show on the 12th day of May 2022. I'm Eric Kawa, and as I told you earlier on, we will be having a special guest for this hour. Now, let me tell you something special about our guest. This is a man who originally came from Sri Lanka and immigrated to Sierra Leone as a teenager prior to founding the now Tacugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary, a sanctuary that has been doing so much well in terms of preserving the environment and playing its own part in ecotourism. Now, years down the line, Tacugama is this great pushing for activities of protecting the environment with particular reference to chimpanzees. And good news is from 2019, the chimpanzee has been declared as a national animal in Sierra Leone, the only country in the world to have declared the great ape as a national animal. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our guest, Bala Amarasekaran. Just a round of applause to welcome you to the studio, Mr. Bala Amarasekaran. It's great to have you.
Oh, it's a great pleasure to be here with Capital Radio, and looking forward to connecting with your audience.
Definitely, and it is a great pleasure having you as always and all the time. And we have a lot of things to talk about because we are celebrating the Chimp Week as part of your activities in, the campaign and raising awareness on the chimpanzee or the national animal campaign generally. So the Chimp Week is now here. It kick-started on the 9th of this month.
Yep.
Yes, and then a few days down the line, we have like a lot of activities that have actually gone through and we've missed out on something.
Mm-hmm.
Probably you would first of all want to like give us a brief background about the Chimp Week.
Right. As you have already explained, 2 years ago, we got the government to come together and declare the chimpanzee as our national animal. And it's such a proud moment to have achieved that after nearly 3 decades of work. 30 years of work has paid off to that. But then how do we carry this? Because, it's very easy to declare something and it's a pronouncement or a declaration, it's on people's table. We want this to be a national something. We want this to go to every corner of the country. Sierra Leoneans should take pride in to say we are the first and one and only country that has declared chimpanzee as our national animal. How do we celebrate this? How do we come across this? How do we try to create value for this declaration? How do we, kind of provoke ideas with young people? How do we get people writing stories about our national animal? How do we write poems? How do we act drama? How do you get our artisans to produce carvings and batik and things around this? We're thinking about a whole industry around our national animal campaign.
Okay.
But then we need to start this somewhere, and that is why we kicked off. We said, okay, although we are a small organization, but we have the will, and we said, okay, this year, because of COVID last year, we couldn't do anything. So this year is the starting point. It's not the end, and it's not a one-off thing. It's going to be a year-long celebration.
Year-long celebration. We actually are feeling the kind of aura, the kind of vibes already into the whole campaign, and you're telling us this will be for the rest of the year. So already we've seen some great stuff. I know much will be expected. So let's come through to the event that you've already organized. You started off with a school parade by the kids.
Yep.
They went from U Building to Victoria Park, giving some cultural displays and messages about the chimpanzee, about the forest, about protecting wildlife and conservation in general. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it was really, I was pleasantly surprised, the kind of energy and enthusiasm the kids showed us. And there were acrobats, there were skateboarders, there was kids screaming and shouting for our national animal, and it was very touching for me, to have seen this coming through and actually see it in reality, how much can be done when you bring kids together. And everything starts with the kids. We have lost it with the adults, I would say, including me. Some of us are trying to repair the kind of damage the rest of the humans are doing, but it's not enough. We need to really bring the kids on board. They are the future, and it's our responsibility as role models to make sure we give them that platform, we give them that chance, give them that courage, and make them feel that they are being appreciated for come on this activity. And that's what happened on the thing. So yeah, we went through from UE building, went to St. John Junction, and there was
Okay.
a lot of acrobatics going on there, then
Mhm.
singing, and we got to Cotton Tree area. That was beautiful to see the national flag
Mhm.
kind of draped around the cotton tree, and in front of it you have all these kids dancing, and
Yeah.
it was nice. And there were some people dressed as chimps.
Yeah, I
And
saw those pictures.
that was really really
That was
funny.
catchy.
It was very catchy, and we
Yeah.
ended up in Victoria Park.
Yes.
And Victoria Park also, we had some drama skits, we had
Mhm.
some singing again, some few speeches. The mayor of Freetown, her worship, also sent a recorded message. She's
Okay.
the mother of Freetown. And
Yeah.
it was nice to have her heard by everybody in the auditorium on that day. So
Quite
it was
great.
wonderful. It was wonderful.
Very well. I wasn't there, but I actually felt the event because I got some videos from Naomi and in the group. So I actually saw this picture of you and the ones dressed in chimp like costume,
Okay.
you know, standing in front of the billboard. That was quite amazing. And part of the messages that they sent, and this is something you also spoke on the last press conference you held at the Sierra Leone Museum.
Right.
So one key catchy message was wildlife is like gold and diamonds too.
It is.
Yes,
It
yes.
is. It's part of our heritage.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I mean, this is forever if you can protect it. Other natural resources, you know, you keep plundering, one day it's gone.
Mhm.
Or, you know, market value in the world goes down and you're down. That's
Yeah.
what happened with our iron ore, right? All the hype about the iron ore with African minerals and all that some years ago. Everything went down when the market price crashed.
Mhm.
But chimpanzee and our wildlife is also a natural wealth. We should boast about it, we should preserve it, and we should really make money out of it. This is what other countries have done so well. Take for
Yeah.
examples like Rwanda, Angola, Mozambique, South Africa, Kenya, you name it,
Yeah.
right? It is an integral part of their, well-being, the development, and the amount of employment it can create, the amount
Yeah.
of revenue it can create.
Mhm.
So it's important. It is.
Yes.
It is a wealth that needs to be protected.
Definitely, definitely. And I'm sure Sierra Leone, apart from chimpanzees, we are also blessed with so many species that we haven't actually discovered yet.
Yeah, you're right. For us, everything starts with the chimp, and
Yeah.
we are doing everything through the chimps.
Okay.
So chimpanzee in the scientific world, really, or conservation world,
Mhm.
they will consider a chimpanzee as a flagship species.
Okay.
That means if chimpanzee lives in an environment and he is thriving, every other being in that environment, the lesser creatures, you know, chimpanzee is a great ape. They are the closest relative to humans.
Yeah.
But you have all the other things. You have the daikas, you have the deers, you have the hippos, you name it, right?
Yeah.
There are some unique species only found in 2-3 countries in the world, like the pygmy hippopotamus. The Picatatis is a very peculiar bird.
Mhm.
You have the Jenkins daika. These are all things that are kind of hidden gems. But then chimp covers it all. It's like the flagship species. So whenever you protect the chimp, you're protecting his environment. And that environment is harboring all these other species. So that is why, you know, we say it's not just chimp. We are protecting wildlife through a chimp.
Protecting wildlife through a chimp is the word from the founder of the Tacugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary, Bala Amarasekaran, who is our studio guest this morning. Continue to stay with us, Bala. We will have a lot more discussions coming through because we have a lot to talk about, definitely.
Sure, super.
Definitely, F1. So now let's move forward to the commercial break. When we come back, we take a song and continue with the conversation. Stay tuned. This is the Midday Show, and I'm Eric Kawa.
Looking for cables that don't catch fire? Ask for Havells.
Khalid and Disclosure here with Know Your Worth, taking us back to 2020, and you're still listening to the Capital Radio's Midday Show. I'm Eric Kawa. It is the 12th day of May 2022, still observing the National Animal Week, well, with precise or particular reference to the National Chimp, or the chimp being as a national animal. This is a Chimp Week. We have the founder of the Tacugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary, that's Bala Amarasekaran, who's still with us in the studio. We'll be getting in touch with him shortly, but for now, let's bring you the capital's weather report. Stay tuned. And the weather report is taken from the Sierra Leone's Met Agency. Let's start off with the bowl and see what you have this morning. Well, you have mostly cloudy skies with 40% chance of rain and scattered thunderstorms. Temperatures are expected to be around 26 degrees Celsius moving on, and you have an average humidity of 89%.
Capital weather.
And right, still continuing with the interview now, we have Bala Amarasekaran, who is the founder of the Tacugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary, who's been telling us about the national animal campaign, which is running throughout the year. But for this particular week, we're looking at the Chimp Week. Now, you spoke about the school parade that started off with amazing messages and very great cultural displays. The other event you organized was a football gala, and you also did the arts with the ballet. Tell us more about those.
Yeah, the football one, we've been always been supporting the youth around Tacugama because your strength is your communities around you. If you don't do something with your community, then you're wasting your time. So right from its inception, Tacugama has a footprint in the communities around Tacugama.
Okay.
Especially the region community because they've been our first host right from the beginning. And we had several programs working with about 12, 13 schools around that area. And we have also helping youth with sports and athletics and things like that.
Okay.
We're also creating a movement through our Roots and Shoots program where people, the youth, learn to take care of their environment. So it's been going on for a while. So we thought it fits during this National Campaign Week, get the footballers and organize a football gala. And that's what we did at SS Camp Field soon after the March Past. And about 8 teams participated, competed with each other with a lot of messages again coming through. And a local artist called Take One, he surprised us coming, and he actually without no one prompting him, he has written this beautiful song about Tacugama's work around the communities. And that's a beautiful one. I hope Capital Radio will play that song.
Okay.
It's a beautiful song. It's a very powerful message. But it's powerful in the sense when somebody does it without you pushing them to do it. It makes a lot of sense. And you think that it is getting through. That's what it is. Otherwise, you can be preaching this gospel about our environment and saving wildlife. It's need to come from other people. Tacugama cannot do it. So that's why the gala was so powerful, and the gala was going on. People were playing football, and all around it there were kids. They were given chance to paint chimps. So we had art work going on, kids with their chalk and crayon and painting chimpanzee faces, and it was really, really colorful, and it was good. Then on the next day, we also thought, the famous ballet. These are the bunch of artists. They've been presenting their beautiful work to painting and art over the years, and they decided to also to partner with us and to do an exhibition for us. So some of these artists came together, and they've been painting portraits of chimpanzees and sceneries for the last month or so. And Tomar kindly offered their place to do the exhibition. And that happened on Tuesday night.
Okay.
And it was very well attended. Actually, people actually started buying some of the portraits. And this is what we want to see. If a tourist comes to this country, right, we need to brand it in a way that everybody needs to know we have a national animal.
Yeah.
And if you want to take something, a souvenir from this country, it's got to be a chimp. That's the first thing should come to your mind, to say that, okay, let me take something that will represent Sierra Leone. You can see, you cannot go to Rwanda and leave Rwanda without taking something on the mounted gorilla.
Yeah.
So well they have done it. So it's not really to reinvent the wheel. It's been practiced in other places and it's working. Why can't we do it? We can do it.
Definitely we can, and I think that's the key thing. That's the message around, taking Sierra Leone out to the world. Because when you package your tourism in a very great way, there might be a lot of issues happening around the country, but then when the tourism is great and then people tell you about A, B, C, D, and Z, that's the message you tend to take out. That we have amazing people in Sierra Leone, we have amazing animals in Sierra Leone, which is quite important. But then I think more needs to be done and more efforts need to be taken from everyone. It's not just with Tacugama, it's everyone's responsibility. And shout out to Tech One for that song that he did. I listened to it and it was quite amazing. About the message that went out. I think that's quite massive. And so we would continue with the conversation because when we come back from the BBC break, we would have to talk about something that has to do with the event that happened yesterday, the National Storytelling Festival or the National Storytelling on Chimp. Definitely stay tuned. Continue to keep it capital. This is the Hot FM, and we're linking over to the BBC World Service for half of the hour news. And right, it is Bam Bam, Camila Cabello featuring Ed Sheeran here with that great tune that I'm loving here in the studio. And apparently Mr. Bala is also shaking his head to that song.
Oh yeah, sure, who wouldn't?
Definitely. Well, continue to stay with us. He is the founder of the Tacugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary, who is our studio guest this morning. And we're discussing about the Chimp Week and continuing with conversations and events that are happening right now in celebration of our national animal. Yesterday was also a groundbreaking event. I wasn't there, but I'm actually feeling in the videos and pictures I saw, I'm now asking myself, why wasn't I there? We had the storytelling with partnering with the Patriotic Advocacy Network.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that event for those who missed out.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of looking for the correct partner who really rooted well across the country, because you cannot have this campaign just only for Freetown. Because the problem, I mean, even the chimpanzee problem starts in the provinces. In Tacugama, in Freetown, you're receiving the orphan chimpanzees, right? The wild chimpanzees are in the provinces. So we were looking for an organization or a youth group that has its tentacles all around the country. And we came across the Patriotic Advocacy Network. And also they were introduced to me through this famous artist, Yusuf Jallo, the Cow Footprints. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So Cow Footprints has been supporting Tacugama's events. Even when we host something in London, he turns up and he performs. And we had that relationship. Because of that, we partnered with them, and it was really mind-blowing yesterday. I mean, everybody enjoyed. You had like 500-600 kids fill the auditorium. Wow. And there were kids coming out with poems and songs and cultural dancing, and kids dressed as chimps. And there were some new artists came with some very powerful songs about our national animal and how we need to protect it, and how the youth should take ownership and lead this campaign. It was very, very satisfying for me as a founder of the sanctuary to see that we have come through all this, and you get to a climax like that, we see the energy. That's what it is. And I'm just thinking how much we can build on this. So for me, yesterday is like I came away with a lot of thinking, a lot of ideas, and a lot of conviction to say that this is just the beginning. I think we really, really want to spread this message across far and wide across Sierra Leone and get the kids enrolled and engaged. Because also don't forget, last year it was a big moment for us when we got our environmental curriculum that we practice in schools into the national curriculum. So you go to school now, every school, from primary school, you can learn about Tacugama and your national animal and a chimpanzee. I mean, it's beautiful, that also followed by culture and art and poetry and things like that.
That's quite great.
I was a happy man.
You know, that's quite great. I'm somebody who's also into art, so I know what it means to like tell messages, how strong that effect could be, telling messages through music, poetry, drama, which is quite very important. And it's a good thing that you mentioned that you are spreading your tentacles to other parts of the country, because mainly they say Freetown is not Sierra Leone. And as you mentioned, the many of these issues do happen in the provinces, in those rural areas. And so with, I mean, raising awareness on some of these things, quite great. And I'm also saying the messages you spread out are quite great, because we do even have some here on the chimpanzees, telling people that chimpanzees are not for eating or for killing. You know, quite interesting messages, which I'm sure is reaching out to other people. But maybe you should also think about getting other languages. Like, I don't know whether you do that. Like,
yes, we are actually we are doing that now. We are trying to translate some of our messages into local languages. And we have already partnering with QCell. Already has a medium where they have their own network through other community radios across the country. So we have asked them if we can use the channel, and they're more than happy. So this is something we definitely want to do, so that we can spread it in local languages and get to the every corner. Basically, that's what we are trying to do.
That's great. And I could also help out with some local languages like Fulani and Susu.
Is that right? Wow,
Yes, definitely. I
wonderful.
could do for
Okay.
the voicing mainly.
That will be good.
Yes, definitely.
And that the most sexiest voice in Capital Radio. Why not?
Now I'm
Eric
blushing
Kawa.
flattered. Okay, thank you for the compliments anyway. So now we are about to head in for some music session. So at this point in time, we're going to play the song from Tech One, the one who did the song for Tacugama Chimpanzee. And just listen to this one. And when we come back, we give you the airport and travel news. Stay tuned. This is a song for the Chimps.
Fire. Brilliant.
Master Star Bruno Tacugama Pense unapusha Bruno Tacugama Pense unapusha. Not only me and you go bring developments, now we community. Not only me and you go bring change, now we community. Tacugama say let we left for the forest. Mr. Bala say let we left for the forest. Want good life, don't forget about the hygiene. And if you want good health, don't forget about the hygiene. Tacugama say, let me clean the community. Mr. Bala say, let me clean the community. Babu they say, let we not push them far away. Not only me and you get for care for them, then serve the national animal. Bruno. Tacugama, then say let me clean with my kids, Bruno. Tacugama, then say let me clean with schools and Bruno. Tacugama, then say let me clean with toilets and Bruno. Tacugama, then say make we not forget our hygiene.
Now we left all and things we not good now the community. Now we community, but take good care of animals, them now we responsibility. Mr. Bala say, will you pull one stick now for plant and back, now for plant and back. Say, let we left for the bun, we push them. Let we left for the cut, we stick them. Necessary way, it not good for the animals, them. Let we protect the animals. Tacugama look at all the way that regions, right now the Lion Mountain, oh. Let we take good care of the animals, them. Hey. Now we duty for take good care of our community. Now we duty, yeah. And now we duty for guide and protect the children. And now we duty. Tacugama then they help and they support the kids them. So let we support them. Let we support. Let we support them. Let we support them. Let we battle them. Tacugama. Let we battle. And Aji, not the best way. We stop all bad serious. We stop all bad serious.
The coach with the bull, I will stop a more. Yeah, the bun call the bull, I will stop a more. Mr. Hunter said, I will take your time more. Take your time more. Let me drop the bush animals away, yeah. We want to see the lions back. We want to see the tigers back. We want to see the elephants, gorillas, and many more. We want to see the lions back. We want to see the tigers back. We want to see the elephants, gorillas, and many more. We Lion Mountain. We need to see lion no more.
Bruno. Tacugama, then say let me clean with my kids, Bruno. Tacugama, then say let me clean with schools and Bruno.
Right, Tacugama say make we build, we school them, Bruno, and make we protect we environments. That's a song here done by Tech One, song for Tacugama and the Chimps. Quite an amazing song, Mr. Bala.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's really, really powerful song. And as I said, this is someone just comes up with an idea and come and gives it to you. It was his present for the animal campaign.
Okay.
And this is what I want to see from everyone. Everybody joining in.
Everybody joining in. It's a collective effort. Do what you can to ensure that we protect our national animal. And so you mentioned Bruno here, and Bruno plays a significant role in Tacugama's history.
Extremely. When people refer to me as Bala, the founder of the sanctuary, but
Okay.
within me, I'm not the founder. It is Bruno, the founder.
Okay.
Because if I didn't meet Bruno, there won't be a sanctuary. It was him. It was my first rescue. is because of him. He actually took me down this lane where he transformed me. He made me understand that there are species that are so close to us and they need, or they deserve, the protection from humans. And it was Bruno who planted that seed in my head. And that's what created Tacugama. And unfortunately, about 17, 18 years ago, there was an escape, and Bruno was one of the chimps who escaped. And after that, we've been tracking him for some time. We have reasons to believe that he has moved in with some wild chimpanzees, and the best thing can happen. But then I didn't kind of come away from that thinking that Bruno is gone, that means everything is lost. I think it was a message Bruno left with us to say, hey, you cannot just sit at Tacugama and protect the rest of the chimps. There are over 6,000 chimps across the country. Get out of the sanctuary and start protecting the wild chimpanzees. That's the message Bruno left with us. And that's what we are doing. Over the years, we are now working kind of with many communities across the country and trying to protect chimpanzees and their habitats. That in turn is it is helping the humans.
All right, definitely. So we want to talk about the upcoming events. We have the great event crowning things up, which is the gala. But today there's a climate change event taking place at the British High Commission. And Capital Radio will definitely be there as one of the media partners. Tell us about this event. What should be expected?
Yeah, when you talk about Capital Radio, another thing I must mention also, this is probably the first time I'm spending less time in front of radio stations or TV.
Okay.
I got a bunch of people now. It's a communication division. You got Daniela Samura, you got Alfred, you got Nora. These are all upcoming guys. They are really spreading the message. And that's the future for Tacugama. So I'm really happy that they are taking this thing as is their initiative and they're pushing. Now today's event, yes, British High Commission is known, and the High Commissioner is a very big fan of the climate change event, and she's been pushing for that. And so when we said we are doing the National Animal Campaign, and she said, look, I got to be part of it, because what are you doing basically? Tacugama is protecting chimps. How do you protect chimps? It's protecting their habitat. That is all about protecting your forest and the habitat and the environment. That is directly linked to the climate change. So there is a huge, strong link between what they are trying to do and what we are already doing it. So that is why we decided to partner, and she gracefully offered her house, the Runnymede, the British High Commissioner's residence. And today, you know, we're inviting some dignitaries and some people who have touched us all along our way as Tacugama, and I think there's going to be a cocktail, some speeches, and yeah, it's nice to conclude it there before we head for the gala on Sunday.
Definitely, and the Capital Radio team will definitely be there, and you can get updates on that event, probably just some snippets on our social media platforms. You definitely will get that. So coming to the final event, we would probably wrap up with that, but for now I think we would have to get into the airport and travel information. So when we come back, we wrap things up with the event that will be taking place. That's the gala. So he is Bala Amarasekaran, the founder of the Tacugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary, here with us in the studio. And it is the midday show. I'm Eric Kawa, 12th day of May 2022. And this is the Hot FM. The airport and travel news is up next.
This is Eric on Capital Radio.
Absolutely, it's Saturday more. We're here on the midday show and trying to wrap this interview up. We've got 7 more minutes to go, and we still have with us the founder of the Tacugama Chimpanzee Sanctuary, Bala Amarasekaran, with us in the studio. Welcome again.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, the conversation is getting so interesting that I don't even want it to end, but definitely, you know, there's always time to discuss more things. So now we will be seeing the whole Chimp Week wrapped up with a grand gala, a night gala that will be happening at the Radisson Blu. That's next door here. Tell us more about this event.
Yeah, I mean, you have a very long week, and I know that a lot of people, Tacugama staff, our sponsors, they've all worked hard on this. I think it's a nice way to end. We all come together and celebrate the week, and you know, it's a nice way to end it. So the celebration is going to be at the Radisson, and it's a fundraising event as well, because to run a campaign for 1 week, it costs money. We've been very fortunate to have some sponsors coming in, like QCell, SM Brussels Airlines. I mean, they did a wonderful job by giving 15% discount on everyone coming to for the gala on Sunday night. And also there are other ones like Sarah Juice, Shankar Das. They all helped us with drinks. And Patriotic Advocacy Network, they performed. They brought in all the schools. So it was really, really wonderful. So it's also one way of bringing all of them together and say thank you, and end it that way. And probably that will open up for new ideas, and probably we get some pledges in terms of how we want to continue. Because